Moment. Let me get my clicker. We're going to take a break in just a second, and I'm going to do a couple of Barnabas things. Let me grab my clicker real quick. Just a couple of internal things with Barnabas community. I'm going to invite Austin to come up. This is Austin Payne. We have a program called the Associates Program. Austin's going to talk about that. We introduced him back in August. Go. You've got a couple minutes.
All right. I was reminded this morning, I live in Fallbrook. It's kind of out in the sticks in North County, San Diego. But I woke up this morning at about 5 a.m. to make it up here, and I started having flashbacks. I grew up with Russ and Gina, and I played basketball all through high school, and we had 5 a.m. practices when I was playing JV, and Russ and my dad were my coach. And I remember one particular practice, we were wrapping up at the end, and as good coaches do, they prepare you for the fourth quarter. They were like, all right, go to the baseline, we're going to run suicides. And on this particular day, I remember them telling us the first person that crosses the finish line gets to be done. You know, you get to go shower, and then so on and so forth for every person on the team. The next first person that's done, the next first person. So I know myself well enough to know I'm probably not the fastest guy on the team, so that first suicide, I kept my energy. You know, I go, okay, I'm gonna save it, but I'm probably the second fastest person on the team. And so the first one, of course, whatever Jimmy or whatever his name was, crosses the finish line. He gets to go to the showers, and I line up on the second one knowing this is my time to shine. And I go and I sprint my heart out, and in my mind, I cross first. And Russ, my coach, calls out, Zach, you can go to the showers. And I kid you not, 15-year-old me looked at Russ, my coach, and 15-year-old me knew everything, right? And I looked at Russ and I said, you've got to be kidding me, Russ. Now, if you know anything about coaching and freshmen in high school, that didn't go over well for me, right? Not only did I not get to go first on that one, I ran the rest of the suicides. Then when everybody else went to the showers, I kept running suicides until Russ aptly provided me with perspective, wisdom, dose of humility, right? And 15 years later, I had my 30th birthday this summer. I still need those things. I need perspective. I need a dose of humility. I need wisdom. I need coaching. And thank God I have Russ in my life, and he continues to coach me, continues to provide that wisdom for me. And I want you to take a second. I'll give you about 60 seconds at your tables, and so not everybody gets to share, but I'd love for you to turn to the people at your table and maybe just ask this question of your table. If you can think back to when you were between the ages of 25 and 35, when it came to your careers, your finances, maybe your marriage at that point, your walk with the Lord, what were some of those things that you needed? What was some of the wisdom? What was some of the advice? What was some of the practical things? And maybe if one or two people can share at your table, I'd love for you to just turn and take 60, 90 seconds and discuss that really quick. Okay, if I could draw your attention back up front. I'm sure we could keep sharing, because in that age range, right, in that 25 to 35, there's probably a handful of things that we needed. Right, just from these front tables, I heard somebody say Jesus. I needed Jesus, or I needed that relationship with Jesus. I needed that perspective. I needed that wisdom. I needed, what were some of the other things, if you just shout out really quick, that you needed? Patience, yeah. Community. What else? Yeah. Surrender. Kindness, yeah, man. Underrated. Sorry? Discernment, yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite passages in the book of Exodus is in Exodus 18. I've been married for about 4 years now, and so this passage makes me laugh in some ways. My father-in-law is an orthopedic trauma surgeon and very accomplished. He's in Switzerland right now coaching and training surgeons from all over the world. And so in Exodus 18, when Moses has a meeting with his father-in-law, there's kind of a funny moment for me in Scripture where Moses has led the people of Israel out of Egypt and he walked across the Red Sea, they've wandered in the wilderness, and then his father-in-law comes to visit. Right? And there's this moment where they sit down over dinner and Moses gets to share with his father-in-law, this is what I've done, this is what I've accomplished. And this is a relatively young Moses, right? And in biblical times, he's about 80, but a very young 80. A very young 80. Can I get an amen in the room? Okay? And in Moses' youth, he makes a big mistake, right? The very next morning, after he tells his father-in-law, hey, here's all the things that I've done, here's all the things that I've accomplished, and his father-in-law praises God for it. He offers the sacrifice. They call Aaron. And then the very next day, it's bring your father-in-law to work day. And Jethro comes with Moses, and he just watches all day. He just observes. And then he says this. He says this in Exodus 18. It says, Moses' father-in-law replied, what you're doing is not good. Direct and to the point. He says, you and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice, and may God go with you. And what Moses was doing is he was trying to handle the workload of offering wisdom and advice and leadership to the nation of Israel. And his father-in-law came along and said, you can't do this alone. He said, you need perspective. You need people to come alongside you. You need wisdom. You need to be supported by the people around you. And this is really our heart for the Barnabas Associates program. I love what the Barnabas program is. I love what it exists for. I love the ability to gather a room full of people and say, can we use our time, our talent, our network to impact God's global kingdom? I have a really unique background. I'm from here in the U.S., but I grew up in Ecuador internationally. I now live in San Diego, but my heart is torn between, man, what is God doing globally, and also what is he doing, and how do we leverage what we have here in the U.S.? And so the Barnabas provides a really interesting crossroads for me, and I'm passionate about getting my generation involved. And so the Barnabas Associates program, we exist, we're starting to exist to preserve the mission and vision of Barnabas by engaging the next generation of kingdom-minded marketplace leaders and philanthropists. And so we're doing this in 3 primary ways. The first is we want to bring younger people into this room. We want to engage 25 to 35-year-olds and say, hey, we want you to be a part of the Barnabas program. This isn't a siloed aspect of Barnabas. This is absolutely, can we get people in this room? Can we rub shoulders with so many of you that have the life experience and the wisdom and the perspective and that can teach and coach and train? But we want to also challenge 25 to 35-year-olds to get involved in what God's doing. Right? That might not mean financially, right? But that might mean can you use your time? Can you use your talent? Can you use your network? And so our first goal is to engage 25 to 35-year-olds with this room. The second one is coaching. Right? And a lot of you shared at your tables, I needed wisdom, I needed discernment, I needed coaching, I needed to learn what kindness looked like. And so our heart is to engage with this room and say, man, there are coaches sitting in this room that can do one-on-one sessions with 25 to 35-year-olds that need it. So many of the people that I'm talking to right now are hungry for that mentorship, or hungry for that. I need that in my life. I need that iron sharpens iron, that challenging, that perspective. And then the last one is we'll have about 4 Barnabas Associate exclusive events next year that are fun. They're networking. There's service opportunities within that, but we want to provide a little bit of a return on investment for our Barnabas associates next year. And so here's my ask of you. My ask is for those of you sitting in this room, if you have a son, if you have a daughter, if you have a grandson, a granddaughter, a nephew, a niece, a coworker maybe, an employee that comes to mind when we talk about this Barnabas Associates program, somebody in that 25 to 35-year-old range, my ask is we need you. We need to leverage this existing program to get the word out there. I've had 40, 50 conversations in the last couple of months with just my network, Russ's network, some just word of mouth. But really, what we need is you. We need to engage with you and say who needs to be involved in this in 2023.
Awesome. And you can catch Austin here. You can write to me. We'll connect you. But thank you, Austin. What a great image of coaching. Thank you for that. Just a couple real quick things. Hey, Mark Ottestead, will you move up here? That'd be great. A couple of quick things just to know that are coming. We have packets coming out to renew partnerships. If you're a partner, you get something in the mail in the next couple of weeks. We have a survey coming out, which is an annual survey, just getting some feedback, so be looking for that. We'll be talking about that. And in the book is our dates for 2023. Make sure you take those dates and put them in your calendar now because they're coming. There's two things coming up. We have a virtual open house on the 10th of November. If you're a guest here, you're going to get a letter from me and an invitation. It's just a simple conversation with me to answer your questions about Barnabas. So it's a short call in the morning, and we spend about 40 minutes just talking about Barnabas, reflecting on what you experienced here, but encourage you to be on that. And then if you're a partner, we have a networking breakfast coming up on the 15th at Mimi's Cafe. We still have some seats available, and you can register. That'll be in the Monday. Every Monday we send out an email, and that's coming up. I'm going to invite Mark Ottestead up. In your book, there's an ad talking about this coach training on page 38. Mark, talk about coaching.
Talk about coaching. So good morning, everybody. Great start to the morning. So I'm wondering if you might be interested in investing in yourself in 2023. And the investment would you be open to the idea of improving every relationship in your life? And what that would look like is investing in coach training. So coaching is all about listening. It's listening and then asking a question that allows that to continue on so that you can get to the heart of the matter. So we're going to have leadership coach training in January. So the opportunity be for you to invest in yourself, which just makes me think what Austin was just talking about. How can we help you develop the tools that allow you to be with somebody and listen to them well and help them become the best version of themselves? So this is a community opportunity. We want to learn together. It's CBMC and Barnabas working together to bring people together to learn about coaching, that they might help each other be heard and be a good listener and be a good question teller.
Perfect. Thank you, Mark. And you can contact Mark on this flyer. There's a QR code. You can contact me as well, and we'll point you in. We'll also be talking about and promoting this. And again, Mark said it, but coaching can affect every aspect of your life, not just the Barnabas community, everything you do. So this is an investment in you, so thank you.